Welcome to Slayerfest 98. I'm Meredith Goldstein.
I'm Carlos Crawford.
I'm David Diaz. Today we are here to talk about the Rattening.
The Magicians Season 2 episode. We are almost done. Do you see how I covered there, David?
I did, yeah, thank you for that. I should have asked, wait, what am I doing? How does this work?
We're almost done, Season 2. This is maybe the fastest, most efficient coverage I've ever done, because it's only 2 more episodes left to record. What do we think of this episode revisiting it? We a little bit talked about this. Meredith, what do you think revisiting it?
I was delighted. I especially seeing these things a little bit out of order after seeing them so many times. I was like, oh, this one. And I was pretty psyched.
Yeah, fair. David?
I love this one. I actually just rewatched it 3 times again this weekend to make sure I was up to snuff on my brain powers.
You are so efficient when you are coming on for an episode. He'll be like, I did a whole rewatch of the series this weekend to prepare for one episode recording.
I'm so thrilled because I feel like so much of the time I'm like, what's happening? And now I will know. I will get to find out.
This is the episode that as I was watching season 2 for the coverage, my fiance has never watched The Magicians all the way through. And I was like, I need you to watch a scene from this episode because I think it'll get you into it. So I'm excited to talk about that scene.
Oh, okay.
And it's early on. So
all right. I as Meredith and I said, it's I was watching it and I was like, I don't know that my timeline for The Magicians is I never remember what happens when because so many things happen. And it's funny because this episode also does the thing where it's things are happening off screen. There's plot happening off screen as well. But yeah, I like this episode. Once we got to the shade stuff, I was like, oh, I do remember this. So this has I watched this on Tubi. Before we got the credits, it has a commercial before the fucking credits because it's such a long intro. So we open on Q and Julia in an alley because the last episode was kind of they needed to find an ancient one, and she showed him a picture of a dragon. And so they find a sewer drain. There's energy coming off it. She does a tooth extraction, which gross.
I think I said this last time I was on too, that I love how smart they all are because he's like, oh, my ancient Greek is a little rusty. And she's like, oh yeah, it'll open up at the drop of milk teeth. He's like, oh yeah, milk teeth? Those are baby teeth. I have one. Shadeless Julia, give it to me.
Yeah, David, if that were you and I, we wouldn't make it past that step because we wouldn't know what any of that was.
I might have figured out baby teeth, but someone absolutely would have needed to read the ancient Greek to me.
No way. I'm I'm a little rusty on my ancient. I don't know ancient.
Yeah. At all.
They do the thing. The sewer cap blows off. We see the dragon. I had forgotten about this dragon. I like the voice we give the dragon. How she's an annoyed British woman.
Did you immediately Google the voice actors? Because I immediately Googled. Did. Okay. I was like, oh, it didn't even occur to me to look at the time.
I did not.
What? She's a British actor. It looked like Doc Martin. I feel thing, what there and some other voice acting. But yeah, it was sort of fun. I was like, here's a bunch of British stuff I haven't watched, but probably would like. But this sat with me better, I think, than when the first time I watched it.
Oh yeah.
Where I don't know, some of the this dragon has some good one-liners, and I was okay. This time around, I was all in on the dragon.
I gotta say, we talk about the budget, and I don't think the dragon looked bad. There's a reason you only see part of the neck and up, but I still thought especially for a sci-fi show, I thought it looked pretty cool. Right?
Yeah.
I don't think it was
for the budget that they have and for what they were trying to do, it worked.
Yeah. I fully it didn't take me out. It was so it wasn't this is rough.
Well, because they're never really on screen at the same time in such a way that they have to interact with the dragon, so it's easier, and it's dark, so I feel it's easier to make the dragon not look super jarring and out of place against them.
Yeah, no, I agree. And the Magicians, and we say this all the time, but I feel this is what Buffy would have done if they had a budget to do a dragon. It would have been like this, right? It would have been snarky and annoyed.
It's got master one-liner delivery, a little bit, just maybe not master, but I'm thinking of Buffy villains who you think are going to say something incredibly mystical, and they might say something like, about millennials, like where they're much more modern than you think they will be because they've been around.
Meredith, what I compare it to actually, now that you're saying that, is this. I don't even really like this character that much, but Sajan and Angel, the one, because he's like, looks like this crazy, like evil demon, and then is just like smoking a cigarette, like, you fucking kids.
And who's the, I can't believe I'm forgetting this, the sort of vengeance demon, vengeance.
Halfrek.
Thank you.
Like
Doffrin, right? Okay. We're like just sort of like there's this casual modern delivery of like, well, okay, call me if you want to call me. Like where you're like, did you? Yeah, okay, you're like from the now as opposed to the ancient one. Yeah.
Yes, and I appreciate that. And I know like a lot of shows do that, but a lot of shows don't do it well. But this is like done well. I don't know. It like. That looks like that's the dragon's voice. I don't know. Like that makes sense once you hear her talk. It's like, yeah, that's what she sounds like. And I do like that I don't even remember how we resolve the fact that there's no more button, but I do like how Quentin's like, well, okay, but if I give it to you, can I use it after? And she's like, no. And she's like, you have 24 hours or then I'm going to eat you.
I'm going to eat you. I'm a fucking dragon.
And she teleports them away. And I do like her last line being like, fucking millennials. Post credits. So I figure we'll start with Julia and Quentin's story. What do we think of their underworld? Because I really liked it. Meredith, I'm curious what you thought.
So this is an episode where I think every episode I've been on, I've talked about how like just get me back to Fillory, and this was the first time where when we were in Fillory, I was like, get me back to the two people I usually don't want to follow, and that speaks very highly of when it's hard to do this kind of plot line when we've seen Beetlejuice, we know the metaphor of what it's, but I was delighted, even in some of the iconic images that we know, like so many texts have described this as a waiting room, and this still felt new, and I was so into it. I was delighted that I wanted to spend time with Julia.
I'm the same way. Like normally these two are not the plot where I'm like, ooh, this is riveting, but it was. David, what do you think of their afterworld?
So what I will say is I was deeply terrified that like, oh God, when I die, I'm going to end up in a DMV, aren't I? Because they're like, oh, you get put in like your karmic circle. And I'm like, oh, fuck, I would be one of those people. I would like absolutely just be waiting at the DMV. But I will also say, and I know I've said like, at this point, I'm just going to sound like a cliche, but like, if, we have Margot up here as my top character and like my second character is, Nif and Alice, I will say my third character is Shadeless Julia. I think she's a lot of fun. And so like her being shadeless while then also trying to like be back in touch with her sense of humanity and like find this and like she's still able to care for Quentin through that. Like that's really interesting.
Yes, that's a thing that I liked better this episode. I think they did her Shadeless Julia better here. Because we talked about, Sabrina and I talked about this, I think in the last recording, like Nif and Alice and Shadeless Julia at the same time does feel like a little bit of overkill because it's like we're kind of, I don't know what the difference is that much.
Oh, it's just pandering to me specifically is the thing. Because like Nif and Alice is very much like I am a being of pure like knowledge and magic. All I want to do is learn. And Shadeless Julia is like all I want to do is get my revenge and use my knowledge to do so. And I just think that's really fun.
Yeah, but like this episode, they do a little bit of like she cares a little bit. Like
I don't like that part.
But this is interesting, right? Because it doesn't. I like it, and it's more joyful that whereas Alice is like sort of like me when I took somebody else's Adderall of like like where I'm like super productive, but maybe not in the right ways. But for Julia, it's like harder because already there's, as we've talked about, like the palette and the vibe is very gray, right? But with this, it made me think of Spike a little bit in the Buffy world of like this. I'm telling you, this person doesn't have a soul, but kind of they are getting there on their own. And I just felt like from start to finish of this episode, I started to like this version of Shadeless Julia more than I like Julia 1.0.
Yeah. No, I'd agree with that. Because it's like we see that she's like, it is like you said, like Spike. It's like she's getting there. Like she does say, like if she realizes things she does, she's like, oh shit, sorry. Like I feel like it's almost like she knows what it's supposed to be, and she's trying to do what it's supposed to, like what
she's masking.
Yeah. But like, because she does want her shade back, right? Like that, she does want to have these emotions back.
Yeah.
So I do think that like also tracks a little bit where it's like, well, she wants her shade and her emotions back. So she's going to try to like start acting the part.
Mm-hmm.
But she doesn't emote that much even when she's emoting. And so for me, that feels on board, that on par with like what you said, David. Like she's masking. She's just like doing it. So even when she's like, oh shit, I'm sorry, she's still kind of flat, but that makes sense. It's not like bad acting. That's like on purpose. And I like that.
Mm-hmm.
The thing I also liked is like, this wasn't just, it was like a building. Like it wasn't, you know, and they leave the building. They walk across the grass to go to the shade orphanage. And I like that. Like it's like a compound almost.
And now that you've said that too, it did just remind me of like when they're watching the welcome, you're just in like a waiting room. If you're missing your shade, go to a bellhop. And she's like, we better find a bellhop. And then they immediately see a guy getting like escorted out for not having his shade. They're like, he just has a little bit of his soul. It's fine. He's fine.
I like that when the concierge looks them up, he's like, you've died 39 times. And they're like, yeah.
I love that.
I had a question about that though.
Yes.
Because like Quentin died at least like what, 3-4 more times in the bank heist episode.
But I think, no, you're right. Because that was a time loop.
That was also a time loop.
Yeah. I didn't know if he was just sort of like,
he's like, you've both died 39 times.
Yes,
you've
like
maybe died a little more.
Right, like these are high numbers, and I do think that in other magical stories, they don't acknowledge the fact that like characters have died and come back to life, and so why didn't they see this area? What does it mean? So I like that they were like, we know.
Yeah. It's like, oh, we've done time loops before. It's going to take a while to figure out where you got to go, though.
Yeah, Julia's like, I want to find my karmic circle. I do like seeing that. I always feel like that coven was like the most underused thing, because it would have been cool if like we got to see them interact more and like I mean, even if they gotta die, like show them do a little bit more, because I did not recognize them right away.
Same.
I just assumed. I was like, I guess they're from that thing.
I like looked up on, I always have the Magician's Wikipedia, like fan Wikipedia open, and I was like, wait, what episodes? And I was like, oh, right. They're part of the coven. And I mean, of course, I recognized Reynard. I did really like, Richard. So he doesn't know, right?
Mm-mm.
Because he died, so he wouldn't know, right? So he like,
because she says it's good to see you, the real you, and he's like, the real me.
Yeah, I like. Not that I like it, but I like the sinister aspect of like, she doesn't want to tell this guy what happened to his body after he like. Why bother, right? He's dead. There's nothing that can be done. So I kind of like that she just holds it, and she like pauses, but then is like, hey, because this is her friend Richard that like was a good person. Yeah, I gotta say, like, kudos to that actor, because he does the like sinister really well, but then he does do like this like nice friend guy well.
Yeah.
I did like the bowl, just the whole like the party of it and how to get people adjusted, and the bowling and the you're always going to get a strike. Like, I just loved it. And I actually had the thought of like, oh, if this was a holding place, I'm not particularly into bowling, but like something where you're distracted by activities and make you feel like you're good at it is sort of a fun idea.
Right. Yeah. I like that Quentin's excited he got a strike, and Richard is like, well, and she's like, let him have it. And yeah, you're right, Meredith. While like maybe bowling wouldn't be my thing of choice, yes, a nice distraction while I'm waiting that I am just magically good at. I would like that.
I want DDR.
That sounds exhausting. That's so much work.
Oh, but you're dead and tired. Like, you can't get tired. You're dead already. True. And you'd be really good at DDR or Guitar Hero.
Maybe
Rock Band World Tour.
Yeah, I think Rock Band. Yeah. Listen, one of my crowning achievements in life is I can play the bass and sing the Weezer songs on Rock Band and get 100% on both.
I'm so attracted to you right now.
Who needs a grad school degree? I can fucking do that. All the Weezer songs. I also just like that these people are like, I don't know, they seem happy, right?
Yeah.
It's like
they're at peace with what has happened to them.
After all that terrible shit, I'm like, all right, at least these guys are like living a good afterlife and seem like chill. Were we supposed to assume they have also been waiting since last year?
Yeah, because they said, because at one point she asks, I can't remember the guy's name. And they're like, oh, he's moved on already.
Okay. That's what I was like, not quite sure.
Yeah, and then Richard says that he's been like looking for his son, blah, blah, blah.
I like forgot about that plot line. That makes it even sadder. Like, and he still hasn't even found him, and he's like,
because he's culpable in his death, so they won't give him any information.
Yeah. So what is it then?
Richard... So Julia tells Richard that they need his help. He sort of plots out the fact that he's been mapping out the underworld, shows them where Elysium is, talks about Hades and Persephone's, the old gods, how they used to come like clockwork, less so now, and then she tells him that she's missing her shade.
Yes, so Richard devises a plan to distract the concierge and the bellhops, and they can sneak into the office. A thing that I feel like I've talked about a lot is there's always so much plot that it's weird to see the stuff they just fully skip over. Because Julia's like, I don't know what this means. It just says E. And then they're just outside of the building going into the orphanage.
Yeah, well, because on the map that they had looked at that Richard had showed them, he said that, like, it's Elysium. And Quentin realizes that it's Elysium. And so they're already in the, like, concierge, so they can probably look at a real map there. So speaking of, like, plot that's probably happening outside of, like, off screen, they're like, oh, it's Elysium. We can find Elysium from here because we're in the concierge. But I also really want to point out that there's a book title in that office that says, don't panic, you're probably not going to hell.
Oh, the details. I love that.
Yeah. I did not notice that, but I love
that. As they were like going, I saw it and then it got blurry. So I like rewound and paused it. Because I was like, what does it say? It's in shot for a reason.
Someone in the props department had like fun doing that.
Yeah. I love them and I would like them to know that I love them.
And it's shit like that I do really, that's why I do like this. Cause I mean, Meredith, your comparison is apt too. It is like kind of Beetlejuicy, but like in a more regular way.
Yes.
It's also,
which like tracks kind of, I think, for it to be more boring.
Mm-hmm.
I've been rewatching The Good Place. So it's also a little bit very sort of, welcome, everything's fine.
Yeah. And this was before The Good Place, wasn't it? Yeah, it was.
Oh,
yeah. Right? Or 2017, right?
It might have been concurrent.
Yeah, they might have been concurrent, but it might have been before too. Yeah, so.
Yeah.
The other thing, this is like, of course, your brain starts to go to recent places. Like there is a tiny bit, especially of I am stuck here and I'm trying to figure out the layout of Severance of like, I'm in a building. I'm probably not supposed to know how to get out of this building. And I don't really have the agency to do that. But like, I've spent some time mapping it out anyway. Yes.
You're right. I actually just binged all of Severance like last month for the first time ever.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
Even binging it like in a row, I'm watching everything. I would be like, wait, what? Like I would not, because it's like referencing something from last season, even though I only watched that like a week ago. They go to the Shade Orphanage. It's kind of, it felt very X-Men, right? Because all the little kids are like doing things.
Mm-hmm.
And this is like maybe, I don't know. I feel like it sounds corny, but I thought it was like really nice. I thought like, I like that these kids are stuck in the afterlife, but they get to like just be chill, do little miracles. They're having like, ostensibly it seems like these kids are not miserable, right? Like it seems like they're like pretty content with like what they got going on. They like doing their little miracles. The kid is like not scared or panicked. He's very chill. And he's like, oh yeah, we're doing little miracles. That girl's going to die anyway. So we want to do a little miracle for her. Oh, you're probably talking about the new girl. Yeah, I'll bring you to her. Like I don't know. I thought that was like oddly nice that like, even though they're like dead, they're like content and like,
yeah. Well, they're also like, it's not even just that they're dead. They're like a person's purest, like most innocent part of their soul.
That's like lost from the rest of the
person. Like that is sort of, I think within like mythology, sort of a lot of the Fae folk are just born of people's like innocence and hopes and dreams. So like they're like a personification of that.
Meredith, what'd you think of that?
I like, it's just, obviously I have a Buffy lens because of the show but also just like, thinking about little Buffy and Willow visiting and just that idea of like getting to see someone you love or people you love in this other form that is equally as true. I like the look of it. I like the whole way they did it.
And I gotta say, when Quentin walks in to be like, Julia, I found your shade. And then like baby Alice runs over and hugs him. I did get a little teary eyed. I was like, oh, this is very sweet.
And the baby glasses.
Yes. Like it felt so sweet. And like, I mean, we always say that everyone on the show is a very good actor, but Jason Ralph's face when he's like, because he like recognizes her immediately and is like, this is the like dead love of my life's child shit. Like, and he's just like hugging her. I don't know. I thought it was like weirdly just such a good moment. And I rag on Alice and Quentin a lot for being so like angsty heterosexual, but like this really worked for me. Like, 100%. And I even was like, I don't know how this is going to work. I don't remember how we're going to get from like child shade Alice to regular adult size Alice, but clearly we're getting there. I don't know. But I just really liked that. And I liked when he says to her, like, someday I'll be coming back here and I'm going to find you. Like, I thought that was just like really nice. And like, I was like, I was thinking like, I hope if that happens, they're both kids. So that way it's like, they can just be like cute little kids together, be happy.
Yeah.
I don't know. What do we think about Julia's decision?
I think that it is sort of, it's her trying to do what she thinks the best version of herself would do, which is like, I've been really shitty to a lot of people and to like this person specifically sometimes. And like, there's a lot of shit I can't undo. I can't undo like my giant tree genocide, but I can, reunite my best friend with the person he is currently grieving. I can give him a piece of like himself that I don't have access to anymore.
That is nice. Meredith, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I was into it. I'm like, as soon as I saw tiny glasses, I was like, we must bring her with us.
And you know that how I feel about Nif and Alice. I never want her gone.
I was gonna ask if you had a different feeling about this, loving her like you do.
I think that I am immensely angry at Quentin for sort of doing what he like is trying to do with Alice, but at the same time, I understand where it's coming from, and like, yeah, it's just a very complicated thing, and it's all very sad no matter what. And I think that, yeah, I was like, I wouldn't have done what he did, I think, but hey, I also don't have magic powers.
Also, he released the Niffin, so like does the Niffin exist anymore? Or is it like kind of like sweeping away dust where it's like gone?
No, he let her out of his back, and so she's just off niffining, doing niffin things. She is learning the like secrets of the universe. Remember that one episode where she finds the monk?
Yeah.
Like she's like trying to prove herself to him.
Okay. I think I always read the like when he lets her go as like that's her ascending to like the death plane or something.
Oh, I've personally always read it as like her being like, oh shit, I'm finally free. I can go learn everything there is to know about magic.
That makes sense.
She said, because she was telling him, I don't want to kill people. I don't want to hurt people. I just want to be free and like have my power and pursue this knowledge and like not have to worry about like petty morality or a body or feelings and just like be energy.
All right. Yeah, I think you're right. That seems like the correct reading, and I had the incorrect one. So yeah, they bring Alice with her, and I do think it's a nice gesture. I like, especially your reading of it, David, that like Julia's like, I've done some terrible things. This will be able to not make up for it, but like
it's starting to get me back on a different path, because it's then after that she goes to Katie and is like, yo, like, I need you to be my Jiminy Cricket girl. Yeah. We are best bitches.
I do like that. So yeah, they leave. We'll do Penny and Katie and the senator mixed in there. Penny's practicing the sphincter magic, which I love. I love that as like a stupid reoccurring gag. Like, and I like the librarian being when she's like, well, if it doesn't work, we all could use a healthy pelvic floor. Like,
she's so real for
that. Penny meets his new supervisor, Sylvia, who I really like that character. I like that her first thing is nice scarf. Like I do have a question. We cut to Katie in the physical kids' cottage, and then she's dreaming and they're having sex. Mm-hmm. They joke about what to call it. He's not asleep, right? He's awake, but projecting. Mm-hmm. I always thought it's like, I don't know. I think I was thinking he had to be asleep too to project into a dream, but I guess not.
No, he can just meditate. He's doing the same thing that he's doing when he talks to Elliot in the heist episode.
Oh, okay.
Because technically Elliot is dreaming when he's the golem.
Right. Right.
So he's able to just move to that plane via meditation.
Meredith, good thing we have David here.
I know, because get ready. When we get to Fillory, I'm going to be like, and then what? So, like,
I'm about to get so insufferable.
I cannot wait. Oh, great. So good.
We need that. I like Katie being like, the best part is we don't have to get up for beers, and they just like appear, because that would be nice. Like,
can they not just conjure beers as magicians anyway?
I was thinking that. I was like, but they do have magic powers. Even if you can't conjure a beer, couldn't you do a little like something goes into the refrigerator and pulls it out and brings
Can't
it over
Penny just like, can he reverse travel one into his hand like he's Paige from Charmed?
Yes.
It did make me think of the rules, because I remember been thinking of my mom a lot, because like the anniversary of her passing, and I was thinking about this so much. I don't know why this specific thing, because I remember I wrote it as I used to like write on my do writing on my Tumblr, and the intro to like a thing about me being depressed and living in New York was like a phone conversation I had with my mom. And it was like, we were talking, I think, about one of the newer Harry Potter movies at the time. And she was like, well, wouldn't you like to have magical powers? And I was like, I would. I'd probably misuse it. And she was like, well, I would try not to misuse it. But, I would have given and named someone she really didn't like. Maybe like a vaginal infection, nothing too terrible, nothing deadly. And I wrote that in my time. And then she was told that I wrote about it. And she was like, why did you write about that? Don't write that I said that. But I feel like that's the way I would misuse it. Not in like huge ways, just in like little petty ways.
Yeah, I'm like giving my boss a wedgie. I'm like, making whoever just like cut me off, in line, like trip on their foot. Like,
like little things.
Little things.
Yeah. Katie mentions the senator went back to work, blah, blah, blah. We see him with Reynard. What do we think of the senator? I actually do kind of like... I don't care about their scenes together, but I do like the idea of this plot line. And I like that the senator, I do feel a little bad for him, right? Because he didn't know he was doing this.
Yeah.
And I like that. I like that it's like, oh, he has been controlling people. But again, this feels very X-Men, where like they can't control their powers, like Rogue, when she hit puberty and like kissed a boy and then like accidentally drained him like she didn't mean to. I like the idea of him figuring it out. It reminded me of, have both of you watched 30 Rock?
Yes.
Not all of it, but yeah.
The hot person bubble. That's what I kept thinking of.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Right? Because he doesn't know that that's happening, but it is.
Yeah, he's like, I didn't realize it was because I'm hot. No, I think this is interesting. I'm still trying to figure out what they're trying to like tell us. And I need to watch this linearly again, but like, just this idea that we're so introduced to people who are magical, there are people who aren't, and also placing this within the realm of politics for obvious reasons. Like, it's like a extremely practical reality that I, I mean, I guess the metaphor is obvious, but then suddenly it isn't. Where I'm like, what are we? Are we saying something about people who go into something for the right reasons and begin to lose those reasons, or maybe they're easily swayed by other interests? Like, I was looking for something where this means that. And so typically on The Magicians, like it just is the thing. It's not like a veiled, like the person's doing the thing, but with this, watching this again, I was like, this is interesting.
I did just look up the date of this, and it's aired in 2017, so it was post-Trump. So, I mean, not that because this guy's actually like doesn't like that he's
like he's actually in it for the right, like he didn't know he was like doing things, and he was always fundamentally like trying to do things well, and it's only when he starts using his gift to like force other people to do something is when it starts achieving like the negative consequences, and then he starts realizing, oh shit, like maybe everything in my life has been a lie.
Yeah, and the hot guy bubble, you're totally right. The hot person bubble, that's such a thing, right? Which is that so often, I mean, the great humor of that episode is just like, it's not malicious. It's like, if you're John Hamm, you've been John Hamm this whole time. Like, how would you know any different?
I dated a guy who lived in that bubble. I dated a man who was very, I had friends that would call him a Disney prince. He was very like, he wasn't like, the hottest person in the world, but he was very like, I don't mean this meanly, but very like generally appealing, attractive, where like everyone agrees that this person is attractive. And he was not the smartest, and he thought he was so smart because people would always like tell him how smart he was and like hit on him and tell him how talented he was. And like, I watched someone live in the hot person bubble, and it was wild. People would come up to him at bars to like say nice things, and I was like, people don't really do that like in real life.
Like I once had to explain to my friend the concept that was like, you have pretty privilege, right? And they were like, what are you talking about? And I was like, they're like, no, I don't. And I was like, first of all, you as a person experiencing pretty privilege cannot be aware that you're experiencing it, which is part of pretty privilege, which means if someone tells you that you have it, you sort of have to believe them.
But those people never like hearing that.
Yeah. Also, no, isn't it? I'm like, it's just so like most people I know have not been told that. No one's just saying that. No one,
Like I told my friend, I was like, you have pretty privilege. She's like,
And like, I would love if I got things because I was hot. I would be like, great. I love that's great if I live in that bubble. Like the idea that people want to do things for me just because I'm hot sounds really nice.
Like that's the fucking dream.
But yes, that's what I kept thinking of with the senator. I was thinking a little bit of like relating it to Trump, but like in a way where like this guy is he's doing bad things incidentally, not on purpose. But I was thinking about how like someone like Trump who fails upwards constantly, you know what I mean? Like he lost an election and then won another election. Yep. Like the fact that it's like, especially this time around, it does feel like he's doing a spell because everyone's just kowtowing to him and bowing in advance.
Yep.
That's what I was thinking of in relating it to this, where it's like, how can someone so stupid and so obviously dumb and bad and clearly not in a pretty privileged way keep getting all the things they want? And so I was thinking of it. And I mean, a very basic metaphor, I guess. And not even a metaphor. I don't know, but that's what I was thinking.
It's a storytelling device.
I do like Penny failing to hit on the librarian. And her like she doesn't get what he's doing, which is obvious, but she's not interested at all.
Yeah.
I love that moment because I think the last few times I've been on, we've talked about my great appreciation this time around for the hotness of the head librarian. And I was like, good for you with your high-waisted pants. Good for you.
And it fits her, right? That she would not be attracted to that. Like, I feel like she would want a man who like is more in line with her, like very like calm, chill, maybe also has a 50s aesthetic and like really likes books. Not like she says, what is she calls him like emotionally immature and he hides it with profanities or whatever. I just liked Penny being in that situation because he is hot and so he's not normally rebuffed. So seeing a woman he's trying to trick that he's not actually trying to fuck fully rebuff him it feels nice, right?
Yeah. And then his supervisor cackling at him when he like fails.
I love hearing this like tween be like, did you want to lick her butt?
Why were you macking on her so hard that I almost blew you?
I was like, is she allowed to say that? But like she's been there for a while, whatever. Yeah. I really like her character. Like I'm not normally for like a kid side character, and I think she's good. Like, how old is she? Like, that person is what, like 16? 15?
Unclear.
Yeah. I'm not sure.
I mean, definitely, like, she is playing, the Meadow of Sopranos. So, like, she's in that demographic.
I was going to ask if that was accurate because I have not watched The Sopranos, if his comparison was accurate.
Well, just like a mob daughter. I've never seen The Sopranos either, but she is sort of like the mob daughter princess that, from what I know of The Sopranos via cultural osmosis, is the whole, like, he's, like, sort of protecting them in whatever way. So she's, like, a little bratty, like, mob princess that, like, maybe doesn't necessarily, like, be like, no, he's a legitimate businessman.
Yeah, I did watch The Sopranos, and I blocked so much of it out because it was so upsetting, but, like, it was, like, giving me bowel problems at the time when I watched it in real time, but I...
That's why I had to stop watching The Bear.
Oh my God, I've been binging that for the first time, and I was like, oh my God, why am I allowing these people to yell at me? But but no, she was kind of a brat, Meadow Soprano, but there was also like this Smurfette quality to her of like the young girl one, like where everybody else had, and she was just constantly sort of I think it's a fair comparison.
I do like that he gets the name wrong too, where it says Willow and she's like Meadow.
I mean, that was for us.
Yeah, right? Specifically for this podcast and its listeners.
What does I was a little confused. I thought she handed him the librarian's book. What is it that she hands him that has the librarian's name for him to go look for her book?
Okay, so she's eating the head librarian sandwich. She stole her lunch.
Yeah.
And so she's handing him the brown paper bag with her name on it.
And it has her name on it.
Zelda S.
Okay.
Okay.
Like, she's just like stealing her lunch from the break room. It's like, oh, you just want her name? Here's her lunch bag.
Okay, so I was wondering, I like was a little confused, because then her book is in the poison room, is what we learn, which is the banned books room. Yeah, and I guess that kind of, she goes into Penny's dream, which I do love, that she was wanting to see them fuck.
Yeah. I've been in your shitty Christopher Nolan movie for like 20 minutes.
You know, a horny teenager. If I was a teenager and like I'm in this weird realm where you probably can't masturbate or have sex, I might also want to watch two hot people fuck. I might also be like, all right, go ahead.
I still want to watch it. Like, come on. I'm not.
I would, as an adult right now, living
as
in the
an adult
world,
right now,
still like, no, you guys keep going. I'm good. I'll sit here. But they
get you anything, a snack,
condoms. I guess we'll go to Fillery now.
Yeah, get ready for me to get pretty useless. I'm excited. I'm excited to truly get back in there with that. Yeah.
Meredith, Zach and I were just talking. I was like, Meredith always says she's like not, but like you're always the most adult person in any room that I'm in. So I love when you're like, well.
I mean, I know how things made me feel, but I don't understand. I just recently watched the new Mission Impossible, and I was like, I know how it made me feel, but I can't remember what it was about. And somebody was like telling me the reveals of like, oh, if you remember this from the second movie. And I was like, I don't, but I could tell the audience did. And I was so happy for them.
Very side, but kind of relevant. Did either of you see 28 Years Later?
I have not yet.
Not yet.
It has a very insane ending that I needed a friend from the UK to explain to me. That is, like,
I want to see it. I want to see. No, I was too busy seeing Megan 2.0.
How was that?
I enjoy. I mean, it is. I have now, between that and Mission Impossible, we are now entering an era where all the villains are not going to be a place or people, but AI, and that comes up really quickly. Where it's interesting to see like how even on a silly level, it's like, is it good? Is it bad? And how are we gonna decide? So that's what I would say about that. Where I'm like, okay, I guess that's an easier villain.
All right, fair enough.
ChatGPT, the villain.
I saw Jurassic World Rebirth, and I liked it. It was fun.
I've heard good things.
I feel like I keep seeing online either it's the worst of the Jurassic Park sequels or it's the best of the sequels. I think it's the best of the sequels.
Is that the one with Jonathan Bailey?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Then that's why it's the best.
I was just going to say, a friend of mine over the weekend was like, I don't know, like he couldn't separate, and he's a big Jurassic Park fan, but he was like, I'm having trouble separating Jonathan Bailey and his effect from like the film itself. Like he was like, everything he's doing is perfect always. So
pretty privilege. Some might say.
Privilege.
It's the hot bubble.
He has that weird he has that same kind of hotness I was explaining, right? I do think he's hot, but it's not like he's a little more like attainable hot is what
it's the sticky outy ears.
I love the sticky outy ears.
Like it's the part of him that makes him achievable or like attainable, which is why he has even more pretty privilege, because he doesn't seem out of like a rank specifically, even though you can tell he is.
Yeah. Meredith, were you gonna counter?
I was just gonna say, like, I don't know that he seems attainable, but I also feel like he would like at least make me feel like I was special for a while.
Yeah.
Well, like, yeah. I saw it with my straight best friend Kevin, and I said to him, Jonathan Bailey feels like the type of gay guy you and our other straight friend Jason would have had crushes on. And he was like, yes, absolutely. Like,
yes.
I don't know why he feels like that gay guy that appeals to straight people too. Like, right? He has like a, I don't know. But anyway.
Did you watch Chewing Gum? This is a tangent. He's in Chewing Gum. Like, I thought he was very hot in Chewing Gum before I knew who he was. So
I only recently saw the clip and I was like, oh, I watched that. I didn't realize it was him until I just saw the clip because it's only one episode he's in, right?
Yeah.
Or maybe two. Yeah.
It's like one or,
Okay.
Meredith, he has a really funny, like, racist fetish.
Racist, yeah.
Oh, this is very, okay. I saw a little bit of Chewing. I need to, okay.
It's like the second or third episode. She goes to meet a guy and he makes her do like weird tribal, like, offensive shit.
While like he's jerking off and she's like in like this fetish tribal way, or just sort of like doing what she thinks is a dance, some sexy dance for him.
She doesn't even know what to do. Yeah.
Yeah. It's rough.
Yeah. I think that's like one of the funnier scenes in that. Like I did like that series, but I like that.
Like that moment specifically is so good.
Yeah. All right. So Fillery, Elliot's preparing for the arrival of his new king, Forrest from Buffy. Josh is there. I do like Josh being brought in as the royal chef because it's also giving Josh something to do. I am unclear. How does Josh go back and forth, or does he not? Is it just like, well, now he lives there?
I think now he just lives there, maybe. You're right. I have no idea.
Right? Because I thought about that this episode. I was like, wait, but if only the button can get them back and forth, is he just now suddenly fine with living there? I mean, I guess.
I mean, the air is like partially cocaine.
I do think I might not mind that. Like, the air making me high 24/7, I might be like, all right.
That seems like something he specifically as a character would love.
Yes. As like,
and he'd been living there for so many years already anyway. So like it was basically his home.
He wanted to get out. You know what I mean? That was like
true. Yeah.
His whole thing was but I guess maybe if you're like in a nice castle, it's different than like on the run. So what is it? Idri comes in, him and Elliot go to have a talk. I do like that Elliot's trying, right? He's trying to like make the most of his situation, which I keep going back to a few episodes ago. Oh, when they meet Valorians and Margot refuses to marry him. And she's like, it's blah, blah, blah. It's not the same thing. And he's like, right, it would only be the same thing if you didn't like eating pussy and it was the only meal you had for the rest of your life and you could not leave the kingdom. And then he like apologizes because of course there is a different dynamic with like the man being the whatever. But I do keep thinking of that. Like he's trying because he knows he can't fucking leave, right?
Yeah.
Like, so I like that he like takes time to sit with this guy and he's like, I didn't know Fen. I don't really know you. Let's get to know each other. And our resident relationships expert, Meredith Goldstein, what did you think of like their like the way they like decided to do? I thought the blindfold stuff like was sexy and worked.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm that kind of expert on what is, I would say I'm the opposite of the expert on what to know when things are sexy. Yeah, it did. It did work. And I was like having just, I think it's the forestness of it was taking me out of it too, because I was like, right.
Like, again, no, he wants to fuck Riley, not Elliot.
Right. I'm like, exactly. I was like, I asked for this, but not this specifically. And like it's a fraught plotline. Yeah, like I thought it was interesting and I liked the performances. And I was like, that was when I was trying to be like, how does this play out in this game? I was trying to like contextualize it and that's where my brain started.
I also don't remember. I'm like, I like had to look him up. I was like, do we see him again? We do. I had to look him up because I was like, I don't even remember. I remember that battle happening and I don't really remember anything after that happens with this character.
Yeah, there is something about going back to the physical kid's house where like you are at some point where I was like, oh my God, how does time work? Like, how long has it been? Who's been where I was like, that's interesting too, that pretty quickly in the series, we are removed from the place.
Yeah.
So what does it all mean to the, so that's more what I was thinking is like, where are we? But I did like that scene.
I bet David knows the answer to this. Don't they say something specifically that like in Fillory it's longer, David? Like
there is an episode where they talk about the fact that like time passes differently in Fillory. And at one point I remember someone came back to Elliot and they were like, we've only been gone for a little bit. He's like, that's like months here.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Like I do remember there being something.
Yeah. Also this show just like loves a time loop and a time zone.
It does, really does.
But also this was the scene that I talked about at the top of the show that like I made my fiance watch because I was like, you're going to love this part. So it's the whole like, all right, fine. I can't touch you, but you can touch yourself and I can tell you how I want to touch you and you can show me how you like to be touched. So let me blindfold you real fast.
It was hot, right?
It was very hot. And him just being like, if you're waiting for my permission, don't.
That like I screenshot that because I was like, this is good because Elliot is hot because he's Elliot.
Yeah.
But like blindfolded with his head kind of back, just saying like, if you're looking for permission, don't.
Like,
meaning, like fucking go.
That's a very fun place to be. I would imagine. I'm not speaking from experience, but like, I'm chaste, but never even been kissed. But
right. And if you look at David's Blue Sky or former Twitter feed, you would never see anything sexual.
Never. Never. I am a chaste boy.
Yeah.
I went to Catholic school twice.
2 times. I do love that these characters are like have been so in it plot wise that like there's not a lot of time to like have a sexy moment that is prolonged. And that's the thing that was jarring to me, is it felt so slow. Like they're sitting there, they're talking, they're staring into each other's eyes. And I was like, everybody's been like unraveling problems for so long that I couldn't think of the last time that there was just like a slow build of tension in a moment like that was only relationship focused.
You're right. Yeah, we don't get. And I mean, that's why Elliot's talking to him like that, right? Because Elliot doesn't get those moments, and he's like, let's have this moment, but then he fucking turns into a rat. Yeah, sometimes there's my favorite moment of the entire series, which I will not say what it is, but it happens in season 3. I think you both know what it is. And it's a moment where you're like, oh, these characters haven't been together. And sometimes I wish we got a little bit more moments like that, where it's like, okay, now they're like the heist episode, right, David? We had talked about that one. Like, I like that it was like, oh, that was maybe the only, or at least the first of the season where they all are doing a thing together, right? Like, and like even Julia's not there, but she's watching via the like mirror in Alice's bedroom. So it's like, we don't get a lot of that where they're all doing the thing. Yeah. So Margot comes running in, and we learn that half the kingdom has turned into rats. She encounters the fairy ambassador, and I mean, Ian saying Margot and Summer's delivery is great. When he's like, it wasn't us, and her line of, well, it sure smells like their whimsical bullshit, is such a good line. Like, that is a Margot line that I do think of often. In my head, she says that much later. Like, I did not think it was here. I liked even that she sounds a little congested, but she's like very like, well, it sounds like you're bullshit, so what is it? And he's like, we got fed, but we didn't do this.
Yeah.
I also don't remember I mean, I know we don't learn in this episode, so we can't say, but I don't remember why people are turning into rats. Do either of you?
I do.
Okay.
But
of course you do, David.
Yeah.
I feel like
one of us does.
At least someone watched the show.
The nerd. What I will also say that I love about sort of Margot's sort of like tete-a-tete with the fairies in general is she has this like preconceived notion of like the stories of fairies that you've heard on Earth. She's like, oh yeah, like this is of course you're fucking whimsical bullshit. Like you guys are little like fairy folk, like whatever. And it's like, no, these are like hardcore badass warriors. Like at one point, like the envoy or whatever, he's like, yeah, like the whimsy is the sort of this is just something that you're saying because you're afraid because you don't get it. And like her sort of learning about sort of what the fairies are going to be like is really, really fun to me. Like her relationship with the fairies in general is one of my favorite things about the show.
Because Margot has no time for bullshit, and they are a lot of bullshit, but they are also a lot of action.
Yeah.
And so even in this scene, when he goes on, and he's like, oh, you know, people claim whimsy when they don't know what they're talking. And she's like, all right, get it all out. Just come on. Insult me and let's get to the point. Yeah, like I love that because we don't often see her. It's not even like they're meeting her. They're not, you know, as severe in the way they talk as she is.
Yeah.
But they don't care, right? Like they truly don't care what she has to say.
Yeah.
And Margot's very good with her words. So like the fact that she cannot win is, I don't know, it like puts Margot in such a bad position for Margot, but a good to watch position.
Yeah. It's like how you make that character grow is by like putting her in a place where like, because like the thing is, you know, not to sound like too much of a fanboy, but as a perfect character portrayed perfectly by Summer Bishil, like it's really hard to like get Margot in a place where you would need her to grow as a character. So the only way that you can do that is to put her in these types of situations that people are like, oh no, like the thing that you're best at is not going to work with us.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, Meredith, what do you think of that with the fairies and stuff?
I love that read. I hadn't really thought about that, which is that like she's kind of actualized like in a different way than so many other characters, or certainly so many other young characters in other series, that like, you know, she's not a Cordelia in the sense of like, I need to find my way into like reading a room and empathy. Like that's not where we even start with her. So like her arc made by these moments is like that much more nuanced and that much more exciting, because there are these moments where you're like, oh, she's already like the stuff that she knows will work. You're right. I hadn't really thought about it that way. And also like how much more self-aware she is right from the get-go of this series, that we don't have to have much of the trope of like, oh, it's a mean girl who needs to learn her flaw. Like, that's not really what it is.
Mm-hmm.
No, like, it's like,
a basic reading of that would be that, but it's not, right?
It's not.
It's like, actually, no, she like succeeds because she's a mean girl, and like it's the ways in which she can then use that without having to change who she fundamentally is to still succeed. Yes. I think.
And right off the bat, like, if I'm going the Cordelia route, where like that's a character who has to find a journey to like a good community, Margot knows a good community right off. I mean, she knows who to surround herself with and who makes a good companion. So yeah.
Yeah, because her and Elliot already have the relationship they have before the show starts. So, yeah. No, I do like that. And I always say that, like, I compare her to Cordelia, but I think you're right. I always say she's like Cordelia if Cordelia had been more fully realized from the beginning and was written by women and queer folks, not straight guys. But, like, yeah, I think that's I like that because she does have to learn a lot with the fairies. And I think she also kind of has like the Loria stuff she's learning too, because she is the reason they're in this fucked up situation. But it's like, you understand why she was upset. Cause like, no, don't fucking say you're gonna just come marry me, call me a virgin. And you actually tricked us and did a spell. We didn't get like, I understand why she didn't want to do it, but then she does go a little severe with it by saying, now we're declaring war rather than just being like, fuck you, I'm not marrying you. And I kind of like that. It's like, that's the only thing she really has to learn is like when she can exert her severity and her like fuck you-ness, and when she like just for the sake of what's going to happen, hold back on it. I like that.
It's like learning restraint instead of just shooting off the hip, even though like shooting off the hip, you still should do because it is good for you, but like learning when to like hold back. Yeah.
Elliot calls a meeting, has everyone drink, and they're drinking truth serum. I like, is it Tick that's like basically just been stealing money?
He's been embezzling funds.
Yeah. But then Margot admits that it's her. I gotta say, I mean, Summer does a really good wide-eyed, like Sarah Michelle Gellar-y, like stare with tears in your eyes while your voice is wavering. And like, it broke my heart a little when Elliot sends her to the dungeon and she's like, wait, no, I can fix, like, she does want to fix it. There's just like, kind of isn't a way right now, right?
Yeah.
And I do like when he says, like, give her the best room, make sure she gets her coconut oil. Like, he's putting her in the dungeon, but he doesn't want her mistreated.
He doesn't want to put her in the dungeon, but he's like, I can't deal with your sort of impulsive behavior right now. I've got a kingdom to run.
Yeah. And I like it too, because it's not, like we just said, he's like, I fucking hate you, I'm putting you in jail. It's like, I love you, but I have to put you in jail. Like,
it's killing him to do it.
Yeah. How did he unrat Josh? He just says he did a spell, and I'm like, well, why didn't he do that for everybody?
Because the spell took like 50 minutes to like cast. Like, it's like a very like magic intensive and like lengthy incantation, which is then Josh is like, well, then why don't you get Margot to help you? Which is when he then tells Josh that Margot is in the dungeon.
I kind of like this relationship, that Josh is like awkward and naked, but also like, whatever. Let's have this conversation. Oh, Margot's in the dungeon? Weird. Like, he's just trying to like...
It's like me watching this show. Josh is like, what happened? And then I'm like, he's like, okay, that sounds about right.
I believe it. I have no follow-up questions.
Thanks for explaining it. Right. Okay, moving on. Yeah.
And I forgot, I like that Josh is like, well, you don't have this, and he's like, you just invented democracy. Because I forgot, Josh is kind of like pro-democracy moving forward in Fillory. He has the idea for my second favorite episode in season 3, where a really fun thing happens that makes me cry. And like, I don't know, I like the way they use Josh. Sometimes they don't use him enough, but they like learn where to use him, and him just, he's kind of like an upbeat dork, and he's like, democracy would be nice. Yeah, sure. And then Elliot's teleported back to the physical kids cottage. And I love anytime we see Todd, Adam DeMarco, whose career is thriving post-Magicians. And like, he just has the bong in his lap, and he's like, what?
Thought you were being off the High King of Fillory.
Yeah.
I was.
And he says he thinks he just got banished, which I also don't remember how that's resolved, but I'm sure we'll find out. Now that we're at the end, what was your favorite outfit, David?
I do think that my favorite outfit is right when Josh and Elliot are gonna high five, and then Elliot gets transported back in front of Todd. Like he looks really good in that outfit.
He does. He does.
This is the first time I'm not giving a Margot answer, but yeah, it's just that one. I thought he looked really hot.
Meredith?
I'm giving it to Forrest.
All right. He does look good in the like, white, like...
Mm-hmm.
You do, and you have to be able to sell what he's selling in that moment of like, I am super sexy. And I was like, this is working, and because my experience with that character is so like unsexy, that with that actor's performance, intentionally so in Buffy, that I was like, ooh, like, okay.
I have a tie, Margot and Elliot, because I do like the like weird bright pink number they put Margot in. It's like a little piratey. I don't know, it works. I mean, she looks good in everything they put her on, but I actually, there are a few Elliot outfits in Fillory that I do really like, and this is one of them. Like, I think it always looks better on him when they do a little bit more form fitting rather than like a poofy. I think and with the like ascot kind of thing, I think he looks nice. Favorite scene, Meredith?
At bowling. I'm a real sucker for like dramatizing the afterlife in a way that my brain can get like my head around it without being scared of it. Like this idea that it would be something familiar and that people who were sad are now happy and that you get a strike. Like I forgot about it when we got there. I was delighted.
David?
I think there's just something really fun to me about the banter that Julia and Quentin have when they're deciding how to like get the tooth to give the dragon. She's like, oh, we could like do a spell to find someone waiting for the tooth fairy. And he's like, and we rob them? And then she's like, grabs it from his mouth. So I actually do really love that one.
All right. I'm going to go with Quentin talking to Alice's shade because it just hits all like my like sad moments. And then I have to runner up Margot's delivery of whimsical bullshit. I like that is such a good phrase, whimsical bullshit. That like is not a phrase that like could be used that often, but it very much makes sense for her to use in this context. Yeah. I love that.
That reminds me, I do have the runner-up of the entire reason that I got so excited at the beginning is the sort of like blindfolding, like sort of like talk sex scene is just a very good scene. I love that scene.
It is. What grade do we give this episode, David?
I'm going to give it a B plus A minus. I think it's really, really, really good. I really like this one.
Meredith?
A minus.
Oh, I gave it a flat B because we're moving a lot of parts, but as Meredith, you and I said, normally we're not as interested in the non-fillery stuff, but this episode, one of the very few where I was very interested in the not the Penny and Katie, but the Julia and Quentin was so far the best Julia and Quentin like side story we've gotten, I think.
And even Penny and Librarian, like there was no piece of this that I was like, I'm gonna like tune out this a little bit and wait for no, I was like, these are the most of the time the parts that I want to see move.
Yeah, no, I agree. All right, well, thank you both for joining me. Thank you all for listening. We have 2 episodes left until we're done, and then we'll be moving on to Angel Season 4. If you like Slayerfest 98, you can find us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and anywhere else you get your podcasts. You can watch our video recordings because all of our episodes are video recordings on YouTube. Make sure you subscribe, give us a good rating, give us a good review. If you want to follow us on social, we are at SlayerFestX98. If you want to support us, we are on Patreon, where I'm going through every season of Buffy as it turns 25. X-Men the Animated Series and Batman the Animated Series. We do Zoom hangouts and watch-alongs. Any and all support is much appreciated. If you want to follow me, I am at Ian X Carlos on all social media platforms. Meredith, where can everyone find you?
The Love Letters podcast, and I guess at Meredith Goldstein on Instagram.
And David?
David _Alexander on 91 on Instagram and David Alexander on Blue Sky.
All right, everybody. We will see you next time. Bye.